How much for this doohickey?
It's not for sale.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Is It Broke? Is It Fixable? Or Just Plain Durable? I know what you're thinking. Where's Burkett Fleming? Why aren't we doing the typical shtick? And why won't Bart the Cat get a cameo today? Well, I'm telling you why. Because we're doing a very special presentation episode today revolving around the Kutztown Radio and Audio Show. It is an annual radio collector's sale / flea market that occurs twice a year in Kutztown, Pennsylvania, and is hosted by the Delaware Valley Historic Radio Club. It has grown to be one of the largest radio shows in the country, attracting collectors and dealers and antique enthusiasts such as myself from all over the U.S. If you're near the Kutztown area or are looking forward to going to another event such as this in the near future, this event is held at Renninger's Antiques and Farmers Market. Again, this takes place twice a year, once in the month of May, which today's episode will be about, and another in the fall, which I believe is on September 19th and 20th, I believe. You will not only see Burkett and I not only in today's video, but probably also in the near future, as I'm sure we will make repeat visits. But speaking of stuff that I do plan on selling for this weekend session, here's a good handful. An old slide viewer, a blank Kodachrome 40-color movie film for the Super 8mm film format, a high-speed dubbing cassette deck and AM/FM stereo receiver, this DVD player, 2 Laserdisc movies, 2 boxes of 8-tracks and audio cassettes. Speaking of 8-tracks, I do have here an 8-track player, or more like 8-track player, because I guess wherever they manufactured this, they couldn't spell or something. I'm also selling a bundle of VHS and DVDs. More VHS tapes and lots of them. 2 VCRs. Lastly, I will attempt to sell this old table. And yep, that's about it as far as stuff that I want to sell at Kutztown. As far as I know, I haven't used the boombox in a while, nor do I know what the state of the 8-tracks are, but everything here does work. I don't like selling broken stuff to people. I know what that feels like, to get something that's broken and you wasted some good money on it, so I don't want to do the same for other buyers. It's just a matter of basic respect, do unto others as they'll do unto you, obviously, and again, I don't want to or like to sell broken stuff. It just doesn't feel good for them. It doesn't feel good on me either. Anyways, I know Burkett Fleming has also talked about selling some betas as well, as long as potentially a Betamax player, as well as a few other pieces of equipment, so hopefully he'll have a good turnout. We're not selling as much as what we did in the fall session the last time, but yeah, I hope it's a really good turnout. The spring one, I'm told, has twice the amount of visitors than the fall one, so I would think that turnout would be much higher. Otherwise, I have some goals as far as stuff I want to find. In the past, I always got a bunch of miscellaneous items for my movie and audio collection, and not a whole lot in the realm of actual equipment. So instead of getting like 13 or 14 miscellaneous items, I might save up for 1 or 2 bigger items, so to speak. Though I suppose that if I do see something small that I really want, then I'll just grab it. Since I've been fighting for several weeks with my 2 VHS VCRs, I practically considered, collecting VCRs like that like hotcakes almost. I figured it wouldn't hurt to get spares of each of my equipment after all, just in case you need them. Here's what I hope to find as far as equipment goes. A spare Laserdisc player, preferably one from later in the 90s, though I'm open to really anything Laserdisc-wise. There's nothing wrong with my current Laserdisc player, but again, it doesn't hurt to get a spare. A spare CED video disc player. Again, nothing is wrong with my current player, although a spare, again, wouldn't hurt. I did just replace a needle in it last year, so everything is in tip-top shape. A spare Betamax player. Preferably, I'd like to get a hi-fi stereo model, and it maybe even be like a Super Beta model, if possible. But we'll see, I suppose. Lots and lots of cables and cords. I am specifically looking for the red and white and yellow cords everyone is familiar with, but I am always lacking in cords for some reason, so I suppose I'll have to look for more cords. Who knows, maybe I will come across good antique radio. It is called the Kutztown Radio Show for a reason. I suppose since that does make up a little over half of its inventory, as far as what the vendors provide. A spare record player for either me or my mother. I've told Mom that since she actually does have a decent handful of her own vinyl, that I could get her a turntable for her to use. And lastly, I suppose if there is a small miscellaneous item that I'd like to get, again, we won't know until we get there. So yeah, that's a goal of mine, to at least find a quarter of that wish list, whatever they may be. Now, the next step is loading this stuff in Burkett's pickup and heading to Kutztown. I'm going to have to wake up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning to get there, since it's a 2-hour drive, and you have to set up bright and early in the morning to be ready for vendors. So it will be a long day indeed. But nonetheless, let's get started, shall we? Alright, it is 6 o'clock this Friday morning, and I'm just about to head out. Got a 2-hour and 10-minute drive ahead of us, and trust me already, I'm already very tired this morning. So I'm definitely going to have to crank the tunes and make them as loud as possible to basically keep me awake and energized as I go on. But one thing I do pray about is that we have, Burkett and I have a very good turnout this weekend, that we do very well. And I'm hoping, if you can hear the rain, it's currently raining where I'm at right now, and I hope that stops there, because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of wet. But anyway, I hope all goes well, and we'll see you down the trip there. We got to Kutztown, and unfortunately it was pouring down pretty good, which made for a pretty wet day. Nonetheless, it did calm down after a while, and we still managed to do what we needed to do despite the weather. The public still came, and many were invested in what the vendors had brought. Of course, because it is the Kutztown Radio Show, the main selection was vintage radios, with some stands containing parts for those who might repair the old models. The other vendors were very friendly to talk with, so I decided to include some of them in this video.
I'm a tube dealer, so I always have to bring a few things. I'm from Cleveland, Lawrence Bolcher, and I love this show. Despite a rain or shine, and I belong part of the Michigan club, and I enjoy the Pittsburgh show too. That one's very good, and we're having a good time today.
I work for a 7-station broadcast company in upstate New York. I do mornings on the Adult Contemporary, and I'm production director for the band. So a lot of fun.
Nice.
Here I've been only there when I came twice already in the past 5 years.
Nice.
But I have a big collection. I'm trying to downsize right now. So hopefully I continue downsizing.
That's the adapter kit for this set here, which is a TV4. Right? And the TV4 has all of the tools and accessories in it. This one does. And I see I left the flashlight on again. The only thing that was included in this tool set was this. And as you can see, right, you've got the little light at the end of the tunnel.
Burkett did very well selling his stuff, making about $400 this weekend, a great success. We also brought a TV that we've used in previous videos to demonstrate things on, and we used it to play movies as the crowd would go by. I played a few films on it this weekend using one of the DVD players I tried to sell, and the crowd appreciated what we did. We played Rambo 2 near the end of the first day, and on the last day, we entertained the crowd with Raiders of the Lost Ark and Evan Almighty. If we do decide to sell more stuff in the future, then this is something we'll definitely do again. Who knows, maybe we'll bring one with a bigger screen and invite the other vendors for a movie night at the end of the auction. Speaking of which, closer to the evening, there's always an auction for those who want a chance to win something that may not have been available outdoors, or for those who suddenly want to see these old machines get a new home. Some people come simply because they want to see what machines are being auctioned off. It mostly consisted of vintage radios and TVs, but there was other stuff as well. Burkett was also one of the first people to win something at the auction, another huge success. I'm going to play an edited together clip of the auction.
That's a funky looking Hitachi. How about $20 to go Here, $20 where, $20 where. How about 10, 10, 10 I have now, 12 and a half, 12 and a half now, 15, 17 and a half now, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. I'm at 17 and a half looking for 20, 20, 20, all in, all done. Sold it, 17 and a half, your way, number 109.
We got a rough Kenwood TS 5250, TS 520S, rough TS 520S.
All right, we got a Kenwood. It's got a lot of class, all of it low. How about $50 to go? $50 where? $50 where? How about 25, 25, 25, 10, 10, 10, 10 I have now, 12 and a half. In the back now, 15, 17 and a half now, 20, 20, 20, 20, 2 and a half, 25, 27 and a half, 27 and a half, all the way in the back, now 30, now 32 and a half, now 35, 35, 35, 35, all in, all done, sold it, 32 and a half, number 104.
We got a Semcor capacitor tester. Looks like a copy of a Telemic.
Oh, nice. Nice capacitor tester. How about 5 to go? 5 where? I got 5 everywhere. 5 up front. 7 and a half in the back now. 10, 12 and a half. 15, 17 and a half. 20, 2 and a half. 25, 27 and a half. 27 and a half. 27 and a half. 27 and a half. Sold it. $25, number 109.
Then there was the last day, and a last chance to sell things that we might have not been able to the previous day. Not every vendor stays behind for the second day, but those who do stay usually do pretty well. It also gives a chance for anybody who isn't available for the main event on Friday to visit on Saturday. I might also note that there is an inside portion to this as well. Inside the Renninger's Antiques building across from us, I found some nice movies along with an unopened Everly Brothers cassette inside. So as far as how well Burkett and I performed this weekend, well, it's definitely a mix. As I already mentioned, Burkett did very well, making $400 and definitely cleaned house. He sold at least half of what he brought. On the other hand, I only made about $32.50, definitely underperforming what I intended to make. I wanted to make at least $50 to $60, but it didn't quite work out that way. I sold one of my DVDs, my Laserdisc movies, several VHS tapes, my 8-track player, and surprisingly enough, a few 8-tracks. On the way home, I donated the rest of the 8-tracks, most of the VHS tapes, and the VCRs to a local Goodwill to lighten the load, and I gave the small 8mm film to Burkett. Burkett got some nice radio books along with the item he won at the auction, and although I didn't get most of the items I was looking for as far as a spare Laserdisc or CED player, and although I didn't intend on getting a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff like I usually do, I did pick up a mix of VHS and DVDs along with a few CEDs and a Laserdisc movie, among a few other things. Nevertheless, it was a very good weekend, and I'm glad Burkett and I could make it and provide this video for you all. One thing that I definitely learned while talking with the other vendors is that sometimes it's the human conversation and the interaction we have with each other that are more important than material things. Yes, we collect material things and we shift our hobbies around these material artifacts, but it's the interaction we have with each other and the fun that there is that matters a whole lot more. Many of the vendors here have years worth of stories to tell, whether it's a funny tale, or something containing life advice, or something in the past that they fixed, or an antique that they want to find someday. Regardless, it's always great being here with these vendors, and I'd definitely like to be here with them again. Alright, well, I'd say turnout was pretty good this weekend. I made about $30-some, and you made $400. How do you feel about that?
I'm ecstatic about it. Can't believe I made $400. I came just expecting to make what I would make and thinking for low numbers. They say that the turnout and what people want every year changes, so you might bring something one year and not bring it, and then someone would ask for it the next year.
That's all for today's episode of Is It Broke, Fixable, or Just Plain Durable? We hope that you enjoyed this entry, and stay tuned for more content along the way. See ya.
The 16th annual Antique Radio Show is underway through tomorrow in Maxatawny Township.
The unique show brings together hundreds of collectors from across the country. We decided to send WFMZ's Melissa Batulis to get a closer look.
Melissa, have you found some good bargains out there?
Well, guys, I don't know about bargains, but the word I've been using is neat. There's a lot of really neat stuff here. Take a look. This is one of the earliest Victrolas made by Thomas Edison's company. And over here, this is a speaker that you're not going to find for your iPod. There are over 100 vendors here this year from all over the country, and they say it's the unique treasures like these and the atmosphere that keeps them coming back with some frequency.
Hiding there behind the hill.
This weekend, if you take a spin around Renninger's Antique and Farmers Market in Kutztown, you'll find yourself transported back in time.
What you see here is remnants of early Americana. Every radio has a story to tell.
And so do the more than 100 vendors and collectors of antique radios at the Delaware Valley Historic Radio Club's Antique Radio Show.
Ever since I was a kid, I was picking them out of the trash. I was putting ads in the local paper.
Jim Monahan travels from Rhode Island to cross signals with other collectors. He's an electronics technician by trade, a career very much in tune with his personal passion.
This stuff is very exciting because it's the very beginnings of electronics. Today it's all IC chips, surface-mounted devices. Back then, it was all hand-wired mechanical devices that move, turn knobs, things like that.
And it's not just a history of electronics. With Philadelphia-based names like Philco and Atwater Kent among the collectibles, you can dial into a local history lesson as well.
Your pappy's working in the moonlight.
The Delaware Valley was probably the greatest place where American radios were made.
Now, if you want to stop by, these guys will be here throughout tonight. They don't really have a stop time. They're just hanging out, having fun, talking about antique radios, so you can come on by. They'll start it back up again tomorrow morning at 7 and be here throughout the afternoon. We're live in Maxatawny Township. Melissa Batulis, 69 News, Berks Edition.